just a dim, dusty space full of junk. I find my old coat lying there, with a crust of brown blood on the sleeve. The cheese is gnawed down to the rind, and there are mouse droppings around it. I look up at the skylight, and wonder where Luca is right this minute, and if he ever thinks of me. I could have given him more clothes, even some shoes. Pa will never miss them now. I do not believe Luca had a hand in Pa's death. But I do not know if the world he revealed to me had any part of it either. What he said to me of the roadman keeps coming back, like the endless scratch of a gramophone record which has finished but is still spinning. And I do not trust the police either. And as for Matthew Bristol, I should like to stab him myself. The lower rooms are being cleared out bit by bit. We did not possess much, Pa and I, but such as there was is being pawned by Miss Horcross on my behalf. She has given me £half-a-crown. The rest, she says, goes on expenses. Food, lamp oil, coal. I could not care any less. I still have pie and a few treasured books in my room, and I cannot imagine wanting much else. With Pa gone, it all seems rather silly, worrying about pennies and shillings. But I suppose these things are important, because the pennies and shillings will decide what happens to me in the end. Once the police and the coroner finish their examinations, they come to the conclusion that Pa had been stabbed to death in the early hours of the 22nd of December by person or persons unknown. How clever of them. The murder weapon was not found, and though the study had been ransacked, very little was deemed missing, except for a Breguet pocket watch. The investigation will go on, of course, and the police will keep the file open. But there seems little more to add. Little that truly matters. I know that I should feel the need for justice, for revenge, but I do not. Pa's death seems like the end of some unfinished business which began long ago, in another country. We bury him in St. Sepulchre's Cemetery on Walton Street. There is Miss Horcross and me, and a few of the old Greeks there to see him laid in the ground. It is a plain plank coffin, and he has no headstone, because there is no money to pay for one. I remember from somewhere that there should be a flower on the coffin, and I pull away from Miss Horcross as the priest is mumbling out the words over it, and the gravediggers stand by with their caps in their fists. Man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upwards. There is nothing blossoming in the graveyard, which is midwinter bare. But in one sheltered corner I catch a glimpse of scarlet, and in the hedge there is a holly tree, heavy with berries. I break off a spray, the leaves scoring my hands red, and set it on Pa's coffin, just as the priest finally finishes. And I feel that, more than anything, is goodbye, and I have to hide my face in my hands while Miss Horcross grips my shoulder. The gravediggers lower the coffin down with ropes, and then cover the open grave with a tarpaulin. As I wipe my eyes, I hear them tell Miss Horcross that there is an old tramp to be laid in on top of him that afternoon. The sepulchre is full to bursting, they say, and the paupers, they are stacked 4 deep. Pa was buried like an Englishman, but an English beggar. There is nothing Greek about it at all. The priest is Anglican and keeps blowing his nose, and he wears mittens against the cold. I cannot believe that my father is in a box, and that they put him in the ground and left him there. It seems the most callous thing. Those committee members who have turned up do so with grim and angry faces. I catch them looking at me over the grave and can't understand why they seem so hostile. When Miss Horcross tries to talk to them, most turn their backs on her at once and walk away. It makes me wonder why they turned up at all. Only Mrs. Gallianikos meets my eye, and she smiles a little, and when she is leaving, she touches me on the arm and says something in Greek I do not understand. But to Miss Horcross, she is as frosty as the morning. I think Pa did something wrong before he died. Maybe it was his investments. He would talk about them from time to time as though they were vegetables in a garden. They would be thriving and blooming all the time. I was not entirely sure what that meant, But we still lived on bread and dripping for a week of every month, and it seems...